Coming to you alive through the power of the interwebs. Inside the Green Room studio from the flagship source of the Earth Mix Garden Products Network, it's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates, bringing you all the wisdom and wit you'll ever need to tackle your garden and your projects. Now broadcasting alive from Bates Nursery and Garden Center at 3810 Whites Creek Pike, just 1 mile north of exit 19 off Briley Parkway. Or 0.9 miles as the Josh drives. Here's Josh Cary and David Bates.
Oh yeah, everybody knows what that music means. It's now time to climb a tree, don your loincloth, maybe an extra layer this morning. Survey the backyard, you find a project, you lay it in the unmarked grave of history. Welcome in, everybody. It's your Saturday morning tradition. It's the At Home Show. I am Josh Cary.
And I am David Bates.
Oh, Michael Stevenson is to my left. Tyler is across the room. He is at that. So the whole crew is here, David Bates. So it's a bit brisk this morning, sir.
It is a little brisk, and it's also a bit overcast. And so we'll take a look here at the weather quickly. And, of course, today is Saturday, the 30th of January. This month is almost over. We're really going to have, even though the forecast says PM rain, that's exactly what it means. It's going to be actually an early evening before we're going to see really probably 6 o'clock before that. It's going to be a cloudy day, not terribly cold, just a little on the chilly side. And I see that I've got to fix my monitor there, but we will be seeing clouds throughout the weekend, so it would seem. That's just part of the way that the weekends are going right now. We've got cloudy skies today, rain overnight, and then cloudy skies again tomorrow. And then it's going to chill down a bit, maybe even by Monday morning, a few little snow showers, but still cloudy conditions. Tuesday, sun does return as it hangs around for Wednesday. High temperatures in the maybe get into the upper 40s, warming up Thursday, Friday with the showers moving back in to the forecast. Might be a half-inch total towards the end of next week, and maybe 3 or 4/10 of an inch tonight. But all in all, it's a pretty comfortable day, and I'm not going to give people the day off today. I'm going to say that it's a day that's worth getting out there and taking some action on. 36 degrees here in the Music City.
Yep. All right, folks, if you are looking at us on Facebook, please share it. If you are looking at us on the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates Facebook page, that's great too. But if there are multiple streams in there. So you'll see In the Garden with Bates Nursery. If you follow them, it's there. If you see Earth Mix Garden Products, it'll be there. Oh my goodness, it's everywhere. It's on David Bates's page. I mean, so get us out there and share us and follow us, folks. That's the way we like to roll.
We're definitely out there and about.
Michael Stevenson shared it. Who's that guy?
Yeah, I know who's.
Okay. I mean, I've shared it, so we're there and we're out there for you. It's on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. So later today, it'll be on LinkedIn and YouTube, of course.
And our Vimeo page, right, Tyler?
That's right. Yep.
Vimeo.
We have a Vimeo page. If you go to batesnursery.com, scroll all the way down to At Home Show, at the very bottom of our webpage, you can click there, and there's a landing page with the Vimeo live player. And we are currently streaming live there as well.
Oh, awesome! Well,
let me see if I can make that. Let me see if I can make that happen. So where are we talking about? It's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates right there.
That's
There's
it,
the
under
link.
More information.
And you click on that one right there, and then it comes up, and lo and behold, there we are, and it'll give you actually.
Oh wow! How diligently did you see how diligently David is looking when on his feed when he's looking for that link? He is really looking for that.
He's right up on it.
It takes a little bit of focus on my part. I've got my screen is a little far away from me today, so I'm having to look a little more closely. But I'm trying to keep my eye on you, Josh.
You should, sir.
That's the real deal.
What's that ZZ Top song? We're bad. We're nationwide.
Oh yeah.
That it?
Yeah.
That's us.
That's us.
That's us.
We're worldwide.
Whatever.
Worldwide. Anywhere on the
Well,
planet.
yeah, worldwide. So we're better than ZZ Top, is what you just said. I'll take it.
Sure. Oh, well, we got 4 hombres, not 3.
That's right.
Yeah.
It takes all 4 of us also, and we appreciate the efforts of everyone. And it's been and actually it's more than just us 4. We have Joy, who does our setup on Fridays does our decoration. So we appreciate Joy's efforts in bringing all the niceties in. So we've got some variegated grasses in there, and
we got plants with flowers from Bates Nursery in here.
hey,
Flowers
there you
in the
go.
middle of the winter time. My goodness.
We got Linton Rose. We got Carolina Jasmine, Blooming Camellia.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
And
the
this
long
one-
and short of
The long
and short of all that is that we will be open today from 10 until 2. And Tyler, I think it's worth you and I talking for just a moment about some of the changes going on this weekend. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's changes that others won't really
I'm not
be.
laughing at them. I'm laughing with them. So, David, go ahead.
You've been there. You know how we actually have the big software change coming out, and it's been 7 years since we've done that. And the version before that lasted 15 years. So anyway, the nature of the way
But that was on an
technology
abacus, is what the way that you did that. It was just on moving those little things back and forth over there at the cash registers.
So our point of sale software is going to a cloud version of it, and because of that, it is making us have to do some changes with respect to our online or web store presence. And that's where Nora comes in, because she's those of you who've been watching for a while remember Nora. We're still grateful to have her working with us at Bates Nursery. She just does it exclusively remotely. So she's working on this whole changeover from the old web store to the new one. And so therefore we're going to be shut down from 2 p.m. on Saturday on the web store until 9 a.m. Monday morning. Similarly, it's the same hours will be closed over the weekend. So that makes it easy to remember. When we close at 2 p.m. on Saturday physically here at the nursery, the web store will be going down also, and it will be reopened when we physically reopen at 9 a.m. on Monday.
Did you get all the data moved over? Did you get all the SKUs done? Did you get all your SKUs done? Everything.
Well,
all the printers are working, operating the way that they're supposed to be.
We had Josh with Computer Pros out yesterday, and a big shout out to Josh. They always do a great job for us, and those of you who don't do business with those folks, you really ought to consider it. They're a great local company, and whether you are a Mac person or a PC person, they have all that kind of stuff. So big shout out to Josh Boyd over at Computer Pros. And we had a third-party company that really handled the data transfer part of it. It was a migration of the data, but as migrations go, it's not 100%. There still has been quite a lot of manual details that you don't you don't get the whole picture on the front end. And this has not been the exception. You find out when you really get into it. It doesn't really do that. It doesn't.
What you
really
mean?
Do that.
The due diligence people didn't tell you everything that might be with it.
I think it has more to do with maybe the failure to ask. It could be the failure to ask a question in a specific way. It doesn't mean that they were lying, but they answered it in the way you asked it, not the way that you hope to get the answer. So nothing new about that. It's just the way that it is. So anyway, we're fortunately Monday is the second of. It is the second on Monday. Yes.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah. So, and the 2nd of February, also being Monday, Josh, is the actual date of our 23rd anniversary.
Yes, sir.
Of broadcasting this program together. So
under this name.
David, I referred to my calendar. Monday is actually the 1st.
Monday is the 1st, of the Tuesday's the 2nd, the Groundhog Day, which is the 23rd time we've been at this program. So yes, tomorrow being the 31st, it almost has to be the 1st on Monday. So Anyway, 615-499-6690. That's how you get in touch with us, and you can either call and leave a message, and Michael can call you back, or you can just call and leave a message. We'll play your question over the air, or you can message us.
Yes, you can. Just like Aloysius Jefferson Green did, telling us that he was listening this morning. And
did he say where he's listening from?
I believe he's down under, sir. I'm
really?
researching this as we go, but thank you for listening, Aloysius.
We appreciate that.
I wanted to name a child Aloysius. If I'd have had a boy, it would have been Aloysius.
Aloysius
Farquhar.
I think you watch too much Shrek. And that guy's name, Lord Farquhar?
Farquaad.
Can't even pronounce it. Why would you give a kid a name that nobody can pronounce?
Let alone spell.
Well, you imagine that, trying to get that onto onto one of those forms that you had to fill out for the standardized test? They go, nah, there's no way. Aloysius.
Yeah, you don't have enough spaces, particularly if you've got, you're going to have a middle name that's going to be like, 28 characters long. So
615-499-6690. That's a way to reach us via the telephone. You can leave a message there. We can play that on the air, or you can request a call back. We'll do that as well. We see some folks
you can
out there.
send us a message over Facebook if you prefer that medium. So check us out right there. Send us a message, and we'll talk about what you want to talk about. It's January, we've pretty much got in the books, and so far so good. It means we've got this next month to get past, and we at least unofficially turn the corner towards spring. And already here at Bates Nursery, we're working diligently at that. Those of you who follow us on the Bates Nursery Facebook page saw a post this week. I believe it was Austin, and was in there showing the under the overhang in one area where we're unpacked a lot of our containers, and we just have
they got a lot.
What was the count? Man. Was it 17 pallets we got in last week?
17
Tyler,
pallets.
Is that correct?
Yep, 17 pallets. That was mostly our outdoor pots, and we got another 30 pallets of indoor pots and outdoor pots.
You gotta talk to that person in purchasing, David. Good gosh, man.
Well, that would be Paula. And the good news is that we have we've done some preparation for that this year. Now it's hard to sell things you don't have, and
they're
even
cheap
with
when you do that, though. I mean, if you haven't got it, you can really have a good price on it.
Oh yeah. And even with as much room as we have at Bates Nursery, we still don't have enough room for all the things, every single thing that we bring in. So we have developed warehouse space this past summer that we're going to be able to unpack these containers, get them priced, repack them, and move those into the storage facilities on site so that we can stay on top of restocking and hopefully provide the selection and the range of colors and textures and all that folks are looking for as they get into the outdoor gardening season. Because right now we're still very much in the indoor part of it, and we certainly do a tremendous amount with foliage plants. Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have gotten that back section, that corner opened up to give us quite a bit more room inside the garden center, have we not?
Yes. So we embarked on a project to reduce a fenced-in area in the rear and expand our terracotta area, as well as add extra tables for the really tall and large indoor plants.
Now, Tyler, if you had your Tyler cam on, people would be able to see
it on.
Oh, I
it
see.
is on. You're not paying attention?
I'm looking on two monitors. There's so many monitors inside the green room here.
Yes.
Josh, if you had your pay attentioner on, you would know.
Well, sometimes he's on this. He's on the Tyler cam is over here.
This screen
is
over
the David
here.
David cam over there. Okay.
That's the actual feed that people are seeing is over here to our left. They're right.
They're right.
The people who are watching, you know what I mean. Our left is the one you need to be paying attention to right there.
Now, would that be stage left or stage right?
Well, for us, stage right, I guess, because the director would be facing us. And there's the director right in front of us. So it's David's right, our left.
That's a wall to David's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a green door.
Yeah.
We're coming
Mystery green door.
And next week we will unveil something else that will be an embellishment to the Green Room Studios here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
Yeah, we do have. Do we have the camera? We can get that little shot, Tyler. I think it would be nice to. That's going to go above the screen, and it's our little official Green Room logo sign there. So we got that in this past week. Looking forward to getting that installed, and making it just a little more official. Hey, who knows? I might even be back in studio next week.
You mean you're not here now?
Wow.
Now, did they get
I'm sort of here. Yeah,
now, did you get
sort of
did you get the proper Stargate address so you can use that? So you you have to have the 8 encrypted symbols before you can get from where you are to here. Not 7. You have to have the 8th.
I only got 7 of those,
Okay.
so I was able to be there with the proper background, but I am not actually. I'm just virtually there, so I'm glad to get to hang out here for this hour. We also put forth quite a lot of informational products out there this week. Our Ben Trest earlier this week did it was more than an hour long program on small shrubs for small spaces, and I watched most of that last evening, and Ben did a great job, as did you, Tyler.
Thank you.
You're the off-camera voice that interacts, but it was a really great presentation that Ben was able to put out there to really give people a lot of great ideas, regardless of what kind of a landscape situation they have or what look they're, whether it's a conifer, or as a lot of people refer to, it's just evergreens. Actually, evergreens can be coniferous evergreens or broadleaf evergreens. They're both still evergreens, but the coniferous plants, broadleaf plants, and deciduous are the 3 groups that he dealt with, and a lot of great choices, and certainly we're already receiving and have received a lot of stock. Although it doesn't look that way if you drive past, it doesn't look like we have a whole lot out on the lot, but in actuality, we've got it inside the buildings.
Yep, you got to come in and see it. All righty, folks. It's gorgeous.
We have a text. It's actually from last week. We got it after the show.
Oh, my goodness.
So, remember we were talking about dormant oil?
Yes.
Last week. This person wanted to know, how often do we need to reapply dormant oil after the first application?
If you get it applied well and in timely fashion, that should be it. Because of the nature of the product and how it works differently than other classic insecticides, is that it actually suffocates the insects that are on there, either mealybug or scale, because it coats it with a film of oil, and by doing so, that oil, it really wants to stay on there, and it suffocates them. It disables their ability to be able to breathe, and then they just die naturally. So
most people do. Most things do if you can't breathe.
If you can't breathe, you will suffocate. That's a pretty much a known thing. So
the dormant oil is really, it's like murder oil for plants.
Could be.
You've got to get it on while the plants are dormant. It's not to place the insects so much into permanent dormancy, but it will do that. But by getting it on there right now, number one, particularly on you don't have quite as much foliage even on evergreen broadleafs this time of year, and certainly your conifers, you don't have new growth on there, and the new growth is really what the oil can be harmful to. The older hardened off foliage is very resilient to it, and particularly within the temperature range that you want to work in right now. Now this today will not be a good day to do that.
No.
You probably want to wait till Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Tuesday, because you'd like to have at least 24 hours of it on there before you have rain again. And that looks like at this point they will be moving back in on perhaps Friday of this week. So a word to the to the wise is to get out there and get dormant oil and get it applied.
Yep. Because, well, and then the nature of it, if it's going to suffocate or smother a pest, it on new growth, it would probably have something similar happening to it, wouldn't it, David? I mean, it's just not going to allow it to fully. I think you've used the words transpirate, and I mean they do breathe carbon dioxide and release oxygen.
Yeah, but this time of year, it's a lot. That's a lot less. So that's why you can use it safely right now. There are horticultural oils, as they're referred to, that can be used during the growing season. They are a much lighter weight.
Superfine sun spray oil is what you've referred to.
Correct. That's a brand that's out there, and those horticultural types of growing season oils are much lighter, and you're able to stretch a lot further into the season and into warmer temperatures without doing damage. They're not quite as effective as the dormant oil is right now. So, the dormant oil is, it's the best of all worlds for this time of year. It's economical. It's very safe for the user to use it, since it's just a paraffinic oil. It's, if you get it on you, just take soap and water and wash it right off. It's not a harmful chemical at all. It's just an oil, and it is extremely effective. So you get that applied on there. Main thing when you're spraying things, make sure most of the pests tend to congregate either on stems or on the undersides of leaves. So when you're spraying, take careful attention to turn your nozzle upside down and spray up underneath the foliage. You're not wanting to spray with a straight stream or with it fogged too much, either one. Kind of in between.
Fairly good sized droplet. Yeah.
A fairly good sized drop. That way it doesn't drift excessively much. It'll collect on the undersides of the leaves. And if you get a good coverage on there, it will be very effective.
Now, can you put too much on?
Not when you're applying it. Not if you mix it in accordance with the directions. You don't want to mix it stronger than what the directions say to mix it. You want to mix it
straight out of the bottle.
The way it says, don't use it straight out of the bottle. It's designed to be mixed with water. So do it that way. You'll get a good coating, a good coverage, and it'll be safe for your plants.
Awesome. 615-499-6690. We see the Yard Boys out there watching this morning. He says we're coming in loud and clear in the greater metropolitan Petersburg area, right there by the still.
Hey, speaking of leftover questions.
Oh, okay.
Joy Lewis Hassler commented on Facebook right after our broadcast ended last week. How do you qualify an arborist? I hired an arborist about a year ago, and he butchered our tree and didn't remove the branches that needed pruning. Any advice would be great. Thanks.
Well, I take the same approach for an arborist that I do, and I think, Josh, you'll concur on this, as you do with any other service you're having done, is you want to, number one, get recommendations from others.
References.
And you should get, you should interview a few of them. I mean, I'm fortunate in that I'm in the industry. Should get 3, absolutely. And that will tell you what you need to know to give you likely a range of prices and approaches. I would say rarely is the cheapest the way to go. You might wind up engaging someone who has no insurance. If you had a big limb that got dropped on your house, they might just load up the saw and drive away. So
don't tell you that grinding the stump is going to be extra until it's time to be extra. There's all kinds of things that go on. Hey, a lot of these things are done. Now, anybody can print a business card. I mean, this is not, we're not going to pick on arborists. We're not going to pick on it, but anybody can print a business card these days. Hey, I'm an arborist. Well, I'm an arborist. I've used a chainsaw in my day. I've actually cut limbs. So
I'm an arborist too.
Yes, you are. Okay. I'm sure Tyler is. David, I'm sure you qualify as an arborist. You've used some.
Actually, I'm a highly competent user of a chainsaw.
Okay.
I am not an arborist, but I actually recognize what the difference between someone who is a couple of guys with a pickup truck and a chainsaw, and and someone who actually has the professional approach.
Well, if one of the guys,
we are. I'll tell you this: we're very fortunate in Middle Tennessee to have a great selection of really quality arborists, and it takes. I will tell you, to have a really good arborist, it's not. Their services are not cheap. No. It takes a lot of equipment, and it takes there's a lot involved in doing that job well. Consequently, if you really can't get both a cheap job and a good job at the same time. You kind of got to decide which side of the equation you're going to want to be on.
Just to be chopping on it may not. And again, an arborist is one of those kind of guys that may recommend an injection or a chemical fertilizer of some sort or a pest. They don't just automatically just say, okay, we got to take off this side and this side. They actually know the science of the tree as well. So, it's a real good sign. We talked to 3 when we recently had a project done, and one of the guys identified a tree incorrectly. He didn't get the job.
It happens. It happens.
Maybe just that, he didn't have his glasses on or something like that. But
Carol commented, ISA certified arborist on the Bates Nursery page.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, there's no such thing as don't worry about checking references, and don't worry about asking for references either. You wouldn't hire somebody for your business without doing at least a little bit of a background check.
The one good thing about hiring an arborist to do work, particularly at a time like right now, we haven't had severe weather, and if you've got work that needs to be done to a tree, if you get that done before, say, this upcoming spring season, which is when we typically have, a lot of these major storms and whatever, by reducing the amount of canopy that's out there on the tree, particularly if it's several years beyond where it needed to have work done on it, if you can get some of those long, not well supported branches brought back in a little bit, you can really increase the odds that further damage won't occur to the tree, and you're not out there competing for services when everybody else is trying to get it done also.
Now, they do bracing, they do cabling, they do all kinds of different things. I mean, just because you've got a chainsaw and a pickup truck and a ladder, maybe, you might even own a cherry picker. I mean, that doesn't necessarily.
Well, and most of the arborists these days, if you're dealing with a quality arborist, they tend to work from the top down, not from they don't drop a tree and then start cutting it up. That's just not the way it's done anymore.
It's not efficient either.
They get up there in a cherry picker, and they start topping that tree out and dropping it down to the ground. And that does a couple of things, is that, but primarily what it does is that if it's a tree that has to come down, or there's a lot of wood that has to be taken off of it, the hazard is taken down to nearly nothing. And the mechanized world,
phone pole, I mean, at that point in time, if they do it properly, you've seen them where it looks just like a phone pole. And what those are.
And the arborists today are really so well equipped with equipment. Of course, you're equipped with equipment, but they have an array of equipment that gives them the ability to be able to get things down safely and not make a terrible mess. So, this is one of the projects that I highly recommend getting into. But don't wait until it becomes a problem. Go ahead and take action on it now. You're a lot more likely to be able to get an arborist out there in pretty short order at this point in time than you will be a month from now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, because we're going to have a windy season coming up. We've got all these other things going up. David, would you do me a favor, sir? Would you move to your left just a little bit, because as you bounce around, your earbuds are disappearing because you're in that phased stasis there.
Is that better?
That's more better. That's
okay.
Okay. Don't and sit still. Okay, because your ears your ears are disappearing.
Don't do this.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I encourage you to do it more.
Okay.
Just
Well,
because
now I'm
it
in a
bothers
quandary.
him.
Look at that. Now, wait a minute. Maybe we moved the wrong direction. Can we get you to move to maybe 13 centimeters to your right now?
I'm just going to stay put, Josh. and
Okay.
You deal with it.
Exactly. That would be my go. Josh, you're so picky about stuff.
Well, I mean, he's got the at-home show behind him, and we can't see the phone number anyway. David, could you choose another background? Is that something that you can do easily?
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, he's really gotten all about this.
Mid-show, can you just change everything about what you've already done?
No.
let's-
I mean, could you
take my level
go to
of show
Arches
trip.
National Park or something like that. Let's go to the moon. We could go to Jupiter because the technology there. I mean, you're in the phase, so I mean, you can do what you need to as you move along.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe a
that's
nice
for sure.
beach scene, maybe in Polynesia or the Seychelles Islands,
Why don't we
Yeah,
just
well,
go to
behind
Pluto?
the Parthenon in Greece.
That's actually
Well-
on my bucket list of places to go.
Yeah, go in a crowd. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
Go in a crowd?
No, you will go in a crowd.
Oh.
I mean, it has absolutely. I don't think they have an off day there. 615-499-6690. This is the at-home show. I mean, it is what it is. We talk about landscaping. We talk about home improvement. There we go. That's, oh my goodness, what a tropical paradise. See,
Is that more what you had in mind, Josh?
yep.
As long as you're happy, Josh.
Oh, well,
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about Josh's happiness.
Well,
Yeah.
it is all about me. I mean, you look much better, and you, as you see, if your ears go away, and it might be because the wind is blowing, or you
Like that.
yeah, okay. So awesome. Oh my goodness, as David mentioned earlier in the show, we are approaching our 23rd birthday.
You graduated college, the show did, at this point.
Well, we're at least in remedial classes. I mean that for sure. We get to go. Do we have to go for the PhD or the masters? I don't know.
I don't know that either would really particularly apply to what we've put forth, Josh. I don't. I think that it would just be going back and retaking the same grade over and over again.
Well, I mean,
We're stuck in the 6th grade, Josh, is what I believe.
6th grade.
You're like a Calvin and Hobbes comic. You're perpetually in the 1st grade for like 10 years.
Okay.
Well, there's a part of that that's probably true.
Well, we got our driver's license. We actually got legal. So I mean, we got to vote. I mean, we got our voting age. So I mean, as we approach 23, we're probably still on mom and dad's insurance. So that's okay. But especially the car insurance, that's the one that gets expensive. So we'll see what goes on with that. But and that having been said, on one of our loyal fans and viewers is Bill Hayes. His birthday is the same day as David Bates. I think we can actually say it now on Super Bowl day.
I think we can.
I think we can actually say that, can't we?
Yeah, can I brag yet
Brag
about
about-
how I picked Tom Brady over the Packers?
You drafted him?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
for a win.
I think we all three went that way, didn't we?
No, he picked the
He
Pack.
picked the pack.
I picked the Packers, because I was,
Oh, okay.
but clearly the better team on last Sunday won. I mean, Brady
Really?
and company. I think Brady and company.
Yeah.
And company more than Brady. I mean, he had a good.
Josh, listen.
Uh-huh.
I know you don't like Tom Brady. He's the
Tom Brady's
greatest
good.
quarterback of all time. First year with the Bucks, and he's already taken them to the Super Bowl.
Okay, he tried to give it a go. He was playing catch with the green team.
He had to give him a chance somehow.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
just
now-
keeping it interesting. Okay.
Yeah, 2 of those interceptions I don't think were on him. I think those were receivers that they were getting hit in the hands and they were failing to catch the ball. So one of them was clearly on him, and he had one other bad throw that was an overthrow. But other than that,
He played a good game. Now, I mean,
now it
that
will be
former
interesting
Tennessee Titan offensive coordinator coach that they've got kind of blew it for him. I think personally, I mean, why not go for it?
Well, how
Why
about the
not
former
go-
Tennessee Titans kicker he's killing it for him. I mean,
Hey, he'll burn them. We'll see. He's got another game to go. So, but no, Ryan did. Brian had a good day. Ryan did a very good day. But at the end of the day, Aaron could have probably walked in for one of them. So the difference in the game was it was a very, very good game for what I saw of it. Because somewhere along the second quarter, I get a large, very loud bump in the basement. Now the dog starts barking crazily. Oh, you transported back to the green room, David Bates.
Yeah, I did. This is a different view, but this is the one that that I went with last week. So.
Matches your complexion.
He's time
David.
shifting too. Yes, he looks very good. Yes, he does. But as I'm watching the ball game, the thump in the basement, which is never a good thing because nobody was in the basement when thump came about.
Well, yeah, that's no good at all.
The crazy dog started barking. One dog just kept sleeping. Diana says, "What was that?" So I don't know. I'm watching the ball game. Go see. We had a fuzzy-tailed tree rat in the basement, David Bates.
Squirrel.
Tree rat. So how he got in, I don't know. The door was
How
locked.
did he get out? Let me ask you that. Did you
Open
open the door?
Well, it entailed a trip to a local retailer, and I now own 2 Have-A-Heart traps.
You already had one that you didn't find until after you bought the second one?
No. I've never owned a Have-A-Heart before, but they're quite effective. But it got baited, and I thought, well, why don't we just leave the basement door open for a little while? So haven't caught him. I mean, what would you bait if you? I know you're quite the good at the tree rat witness relocation program. What do you normally bait your Have-A-Heart trap with?
I have never failed in putting about a teaspoon of peanut butter right on the trigger and putting a few sunflower seeds on there.
That's exactly. I've listened to the At Home Show for years. That's exactly the mix that I use.
And you set that on a hair trigger setting. I mean, you got to set it where that it's the first little touch of it will trigger it. You know, you can set those things hard where that you'd have to be a bigger varmint getting in there. But you'll accidentally trip it several times trying to set it so lightly, but the first little touch and they're caught. So actually, I'm assuming that mine are back at the house. Our friend of the show, Greg Hall, used my 2 Have-A-Heart traps.
Now, what in the world was he trying to catch?
He had squirrels in the backyard that were eating all of his bird seed, and he enjoys having his cardinals out there, and he wanted to, clear the space for a while. So he captured a few and took them to property of a friend, and where he had permission, and relocated them.
I did not realize there were multiple sizes of these since I've never shopped for a Have-A-Heart. So I bought the squirrel, varmint, mink, chipmunk size. And that's
the small one.
I got the one that has 2 doors on, and so you can get them coming or going, I guess.
We have a voicemail, by the way.
Oh, okay. We have a voicemail. Well, we'll talk more about the Have-A-Heart and the squirrel.
You can keep talking about it. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, okay. Diana was not happy about having the squirrel in the basement. I mean, it was not good.
Well, it's not like you were conspired with the varmint. You didn't do anything.
I don't know how he got in.
You didn't do anything to make sure it didn't happen.
Well, the door was shut. We have a stone foundation. There's no holes.
So you still don't know how it got in there?
Absolutely no clue how it got in them. I mean,
I think he's lying.
The windows were all closed.
He probably got in through your roof, went down through the wall, and came out like through your ventilation or something.
So it went in the chimney.
Most likely.
Is there
You're telling me there's no other entry point into your house up on your roof? You got no vents. You got nothing he could have got into. Have you even investigated this?
Yes.
Or are you just assuming?
I know.
He was sleeping in the football game with
Yeah.
The squirrel. Now again, since I know for a fact the way that the flu is done, there is that at the proving grounds there, we have a wood burning or coal burning fireplace that was installed when it was originally built in 1946. But looking at the flue and the firebox, there was never anything burned bigger than a candle in this fireplace. It's absolutely pristine. So we installed gas logs, and somewhere along the line, when the central heat and air was put into the building, they actually ran the pipes from the heater and the stuff up through the flue. And when we first bought the proving grounds, there was an occasion that we were having a problem with the HVAC, and a wood duct. David, you remember this? You were around in these days. A wood duct had gotten in through the chimney and worked its way almost all the way to the furnace. So we had a duct in the duct. Okay.
All right. So
and it died. So it was not a happy thing. Okay.
Well, hold on. So you're telling me a duck got into your house like that?
Yes.
But you don't know how a squirrel did it?
The squirrel, the duck went into the flue.
A duck can't even really do much.
Well, he can get in your house if he wants to.
Well, if he can get in your house, a squirrel can definitely get in your house.
Now, he goes down through there. Now, the duck got to the point where there's only one way in and one way out. The duck got to the point where he could not back up or go any further, and he expired inside that pipe. This squirrel, he's up there in the floor joist, running around the perimeter of the foundation, knocking boxes over. I mean, he's just having a party, man. But the stone foundation was not chewed through. There's no evidence that he dug his way into the basement. The windows were all closed. All the glass is in place.
So Occam's razor, the simplest solution is typically the right one.
The door was probably left.
The door was probably left open by who?
My daughter.
Oh, here we go.
We did a project in the basement where she had to have some polyurethane, which is kind of smelly. Okay, and I'm sure
that's ventilated.
So Josh knows how it got in. Then he's just now owning up to it.
No. Like I say, I was not down there during this whole process because Mr. Squirrel or Miss Squirrel must have been in the basement for at least a few days because I think he was really getting hungry. Yeah, but bang, bang, boom, off we go. But honest to goodness, so we opened the door, tried to chase him out with a stick, but it didn't work. He wasn't real happy with me going after him with a stick. So,
okay,
Michael, you got something you're holding there for us. You got a question somebody sent in.
You want to talk about Earth Mix first?
Sure,
let's do that. Why don't we? And of course, we're here in the Green Room Studio. We like to talk about things to help you have success in gardening. And of course, there's nothing really better than Earth Mix garden products made right here in Nashville. 100% organic, is sustainably produced, and available at fine garden centers all over the area. You don't want plants to just get by. You want them to really thrive and do their very best. And with Earth Mix, you have that opportunity. All the best things go into Earth Mix. Mycorrhiza fungi, humic acid, and all the other inputs that nature gives us. But what nature doesn't give us is give them all together and get them put together in the right form. And that's what at Earth Mix Garden Products, what is done to give the very best products. And of course, you're going to want to go all over the Middle Tennessee, Kentucky area. Go to earthmix.net and you can click on the Find Earth Mix tab, and it will take you to the page that has all the listings on there. There you'll see all the pins, even up into Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. There was a load went out to Memphis this week. So all over Tennessee, particularly in Middle Tennessee, more than 30 locations. So just remember this: success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products. So we appreciate you taking a moment and check that out. Right now, likely more in line of indoor plants, unless you're getting planters ready outside, or maybe your square foot garden ready for spring plantings.
Now, if one were to procure one of the spinning composting products, and we were to start compost, say, next week, would it be ready maybe by the good part of the growing season or the planting season? Because the research I'm seeing is it takes 4 to 6 weeks for something like that.
Yeah, and what you also have is the ambient temperatures working against you right now. It's not all that warm where you're going to get. I love the way you hit that cough. That's your cough button.
I tried to get it. I tried to get it to him before, but he wouldn't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Look, when he signals me to cough, I'll just see it out of the corner of my eye. He goes like that, and I'm like, what? And then I have to look, and then he's coughing before I can hit the button.
Well, he had his finger on the button. I mean,
no, I had it on number 2. I was like, which mic's he on? And you didn't give me a minute.
Do you still have the dump button over there?
No,
because you know what happens when you hit that.
Well, you don't want to hit that.
No,
it's not good to hit the dump button. But
I thought that duck was a mess.
Duck was in the duck.
But composting in a raised bin like that gets pretty slow this time of year because it's just not creating a whole lot of opportunity for heat. You probably would be faster at this time of year if you had one that was like on a concrete slab with maybe some concrete blocks creating 3 walls, and you could get in there with a shovel and turn it. But if what you have is the drum type, those do work well, but it's completely has air on all sides of it, which is great when it's warmer, but right now it slows things down just a little bit because it's still quite cool.
Now I've seen where they've got, and I think I'm going to go ahead and purchase the product. I believe it's an Espoma product that is some sort of compost starter. I'm looking at it.
It does have things in there, like microorganisms and things to help speed the process up, and microorganisms are a vital part of decomposition. If you don't have materials or a good selection of materials that naturally have those in them, you don't have to put that in there. But what it does do is guarantee that you have the sufficient amount in there, and that you're going to get the actions that occur when things are breaking down underway immediately. So you're not having to build up those numbers of microorganisms that are already present. So it happens significantly quicker when you do that.
Very cool. Michael, are we ready for our voicemail?
I don't know. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for the voicemail.
You ready for it, David?
Sure.
Tyler, you good? Okay, Tyler's good. Okay.
Make sure Tyler's ready now.
I'm good. I'm ready. I'm braced.
All right. Here we go.
Yes, my name is Linda, and we need to replace some front porch columns. And I wondered if there's anything we can replace them with besides wood that would rot, and also where to get those. Thank you.
All right, good question.
Absolutely. Now, it's a little bit fact dependent, but wood porch posts, I'm going to assume a couple of things. She's probably got what was affectionately referred to as turn porch post. 5x5.
Although they're not actually turned, though, are they? They're
kind of a little bit, but I mean, they're not. That was just the term that was used generically speaking. Probably 5x5, 4x4, 42-inch base, hopefully, with a little area that was going on with it. And they do tend to go away after a period of time. And there were thousands and thousands of them sold in Middle Tennessee. Some people put the aluminum feet or some sort of brace underneath the bottom of them to allow them to breathe. But for all intents and purposes, what is available that is of the same similar style, I'm not a great fan of, because they're more of a vinyl and a hollow post with some foam and a tube in the middle of them. What is predominantly being used these days is Western red cedar, either in smooth or it's just the style that's moving along right now. But if you've only got a couple, if you've got that wraparound porch, and what was her name again?
Linda.
If you've got that wraparound porch and there are 15 or 18 or 20 or 30 of these around the place, you're going to get a little bit expensive on you, because they're not the $49.95 that they were for decades as well anymore. They're probably in the $150 range per each. You're going to have to lose or at least remove your rails and your pickets that are around them as well, very likely. I've seen a lot of the
Does anybody make that out of a composite product?
Not in the turn post necessarily. Now they also have what they call column wraps, where you could use a 4x4 post and put it down there. It's probably not going to rot, and then wrap it with a PVC wrap. It's like pieced together, snap together type of a column. You can use fiberglass columns, round columns in all different kinds of sizes and shapes. But it's a pretty tough little switch out. It's particularly if you've got a bunch of them. If it's just one or two, they make aluminum columns that snap together. They're available as well.
Yeah, if someone maybe she only has a couple of them. Have you seen people go in there and remove the rotten material from the bottom and rebuild something that is a decent looking or an attractive looking, because it's not rotten all the way the length of it. It's probably only rotten where it's making contact on the porch.
It's probably rotted on the bottom or on the west side of the house that gets the rain. And all the other, that's usually where you see them start to deteriorate first and foremost. But I have seen people put patches around them, and you just get back to the solid as best you can, build a base around it, and then dramatically, just cosmetically fill it up. Now, most likely not any kind of a load-bearing problem here, but you do have to take that in mind. I would be a little bit worried about doing that where you're going to have a piece of it on a corner. What about the use of body fillers? Like Bondo?
Things, Bondo type products. Sure. What about that kind of approach?
Again,
you get to it early enough before it has gotten too far.
Even wood hardeners, there's the brush-on types and some of the stuff that's injectable that you can actually get back to it. But chances are, it sounds like, Linda, it's probably moved past that area where you're going to be able to really effectively do anything for it. But you can cut them off. I mean, and then put a stacked stone up to them and move along that way. There's all kinds of possibilities. But you might be able to find these. There's several different things that are available. I would try an independent lumberyard. Box stores have usually got something along that line as well. Siding companies, the large siding companies may have some of that because a lot of times it goes in at the same time. So, but you got not just the post, you got the rail, you got the pickets potentially to think about as well. So, just do as we can. There are pressure treated square posts now that are quite nice.
Eventually, I think I'm going to have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead, David.
Let's take just a moment and talk about Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We're approaching the final segment of the program here. We want to remind everyone we are open today from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. And looks like the weather is going to cooperate today. Overcast, but not rain until late in the afternoon. So come on out. We really have a great selection of everything on that. Might not look like it when you drive by. We do have some things outside, but the great part of our selection is all inside. And when you come out and look, particularly if you make it down the perennial area, you may notice we're actually working on replacing the roof on part of our flat top greenhouse area. So as the season ahead approaches, we're working at improving our shopping experience. We've been fortunate to be in business a lot of years at Bates Nursery, and part of that means is we're constantly working on upgrading things and replacing things and trying to make them better. So we're looking forward to the spring season that's just a few weeks ahead of us. But you don't have to wait till spring to come out and plant. We've got a great selection of everything for your landscape, be it perennials or trees and shrubs, vines, fruiting plants. And mostly what we have is expertise. So if you need to get questions answered, come on out and see us. And we have the largest selection of foliage and tropicals anywhere in Middle Tennessee. So if you're looking for things for your condo or your home or whatever, come on out and see us. Not only do we have the plants, we have the Earth Mix Proganics I, which is for an indoor growing mix, and we have a complete and an extensive array of containers to help add decorative elements to any decor regardless of what your color scheme is. So we come out and see us. We're conveniently located 1 mile north of Briley Parkway, exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike. It's just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville. And I promise you, it's worth the drive no matter where you're coming from. Again, we're open from 10 until 2 today. And also for those of you who you can still peruse and look through our inventory after 2 o'clock today, but we're going to have our online store shut down over the weekend as we migrate to our new operating system on that. So check us out at batesnursery.com, and at 9 a.m. Monday morning, we will be again open for business online and physically in the store. So appreciate you coming out and see us. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
All righty, and then one last thing I did forget to tell Linda. Linda, it's been probably 3 years since anyone has actually asked to try to replicate, to find the actual porch post in wood. But 3 years ago, we were still able to find them, but the price was crazy expensive.
Now, when they make those now, that's not a single piece, obviously.
No, it's
that's
all
multiple pieces that are cut and assembled together to make it columnar, right?
Well, and what you know, the porch post, the colonial porch post. I mean, you've seen thousands and thousands of them. A portion of it is actually spun and turned, so you can get the detailing on it. But for the most part, it's just square stock. It's been glued up and run to. An engineered type of a thing. At best, they were treated, but they weren't treated very well. Okay,
and
that's
I think
why
it's probably
it was
really easy.
Yeah,
pretty easy for folks to forget to maintain the bottoms of those. I mean, you have to treat the bottom of it differently than you do the rest of it.
You have to treat the bottom of it the day it is installed, because you won't have another chance to do so. I mean, now I can tell you.
Okay, well, what does that entail, Josh?
David, on a cut edge or even on a non-cut edge, simply priming it and putting the paint on it was one of the things that was done. Now, some of the guys would take a black mammy and put it up on the inside of it to allow some things to go through, but they had to be able to. You're just
talking about a black asphalt sealer product
on the inside, but on the cut edges that went down to the concrete or to the base of some sort, it needed to be primed and finished painted. And there were lots and lots and lots and lots of them that never got that treatment. So, okay. I've actually seen people actually put metal underneath the bottom of them before they put the base on them. But that's problematic. Again.
I mean, and even if you do that, I mean, you talk about making
the little
out of sheet metal some kind of like a flash cap that you put up the end of it.
But on the bottom. But see, the key is that even if it were, because it will get wet. There's no. If it's outside, it's going to get rained on.
Right.
They had feet, and people didn't like to see the little aluminum foots sitting out underneath the bottom of them. That allowed the air to breathe and helped you keep it from just setting in water. Because I mean, you see what happens to the porch, because you've got those on your porch too, don't you?
What are you talking about?
The porch posts?
Oh yeah, I got like 8 of them, 8 or 9 of them.
Start saving.
So people,
I'm already saving money. They already look kind of rough.
So anybody who has them, Josh, what do they need to be doing to be looking for problems? Do you be taking like a little screwdriver or something and poking at the bottom? Or
you could probably. Well, I mean, I would probably take something like a pencil before I would take a screwdriver, because you can
gouge a big hole if you're not careful.
Well, they were not made of the hardest of materials in the first place anyway. So I mean, you just go out there and just take a look. It's walking around, because you're going to notice on the bottom of the pickets the 2x2 spindles that were all the way around.
Most of my porch, when I think about it, the posts seem to be like 4x4s or something like that, and then
4 5/8 by 4 5/8 probably.
And it's a bunch of 2x4s that's making up the rails.
2x4 and 2x2s. Yeah, piece of cake. Miles and miles and miles and miles of them. Now, another thing that did not happen a lot, a good trim carpenter or a good installer would take that bottom rail of the 2x4 that's on the top, and it would be flat. The one on the bottom would have a little bit of a pitch to it, so water that would inevitably hit it would shed off to the outside. They didn't do that either. It's a little bit. You got to cut each one of the pickets at an angle. So just cut them square and move it on. All righty, folks.
We've got guests coming up in the coming weeks. You've got
we do.
we've got Phil from
Anderson Windows, Phil Crawley.
Anderson Windows. So we're looking forward to having him on, and also Chris Marvin Nishan has indicated
I've got
he's
my
going to
Marvin
come.
T-shirt on today. So.
I see that.
Okay.
Just in his honor.
In his honor, yes, it was. So, but in the next few weeks, we will be here. So, folks, go out there and once again, follow the page on Facebook. Share it wherever you can, please, because we're just going to be getting things going. Go out to the YouTube page, subscribe there. Find the podcast. Hey, subscribe on the podcast.
Yeah,
It's out
absolutely.
there. Absolutely. We're going to be there for you. But for the entire At Home Show crew, we thank you for being here, and we invite you back for more next Saturday morning. But on next Saturday morning.